I've always been someone who really needs structure in their life. As long as I have it, whether I follow it or not, that's entirely up to me. Back in school, it was easy. My teachers gave me specifications, checklists for every single topic. All I had to do on my part was revise them and tick them off. Very easy and simple. Those are the days. When I got to university for med school, I soon realized not only was I very disorganized, but so was everyone else. That's not really a dig because I'm an adult, I should be able to organize my life. When you get to uni, you have a wider scope to learn things, and I thought that we would get checklists, and we do get a schedule, but it looks something like this. I really struggled with that because which chapters do I look in the textbooks? How do I know I've reviewed this fully and my knowledge on this topic is to a level where I can succeed in an exam? It's completely up to me to figure out what I needed to know. I felt like I was constantly drowning in content without a system. And that's when I finally found a foolproof method to organize everything in one place using Notion. I'm so excited to share that this video today is sponsored by Notion. Thank you so much to Notion for supporting this video. For sponsorship. If you don't already know, Notion is kind of an all-in-one workspace, which is the best way I can describe it. You can keep your notes, tasks, assignments, and aspects of your personal life. But the best thing about it is that it's fully customizable and it will be tailored to you because ultimately you're the one that's putting in the work to it and you're the one that's organizing it. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I use it to keep myself on track because there's nothing wrong with a little bit of inspiration. This is my home screen right here. I only started using Notion at the start of January. I don't know how it took me so long to kind of catch on because I would use Excel, I would use Google Calendar. Having Notion alongside them makes it much easier. Now, I kind of went a little bit crazy with the customization, but that's the beauty of Notion. What works for me one week aesthetically won't necessarily work for me the next, and I can just quickly change it because there is a lot you can do with it, including coding. I haven't really dabbled in too much. I did try a little bit and I kind of put that in my habits section over here. Gosh, they are new glasses. They're very big. So we've got my weekly planner here. I will most of the time pick and choose what I want to put in here. I see Notion as a way of being disorganized, but in an organized way, if that makes any sense. On Tuesday, we've got film Notion video, which is what I'm doing right now, and clean room. I think it looks pretty clean. Tell me it looks clean, guys. Check. So what I do is I just will drag this once it's done and maybe at the end of the day and I'll put it into the archive. So I can add more to-dos using this button here. So let's say edit Notion video. And it's as simple as that, and you can drop them down Tuesday, Wednesday, and I've put different colors. There'll be 2 links in the description below where you guys can sign up for Notion for free and download my template if that's something you guys want to do. Let's go a little bit into habits because I messed around and you can add automations. And the thing is with habits, I kind of wanted to make my own because I saw some really complex and amazing kind of ways to track your habits. But I thought for me at this moment, that was a bit too complicated. It's very simple. When I check a box, I've made it so let's say I've done some daily meditation. I will tick the box so you can see that last completed is September 9th, 2025. And what it also did was if I click it again and you keep your eye on the streak box here, is that it will add one to the streaks. Every time I complete it, it will kind of keep track and uncheck the box so I don't have to worry about doing that when I get back to it. That's kind of a very minimal way of tracking your habits. You can probably find much better ways on the thousands of templates that Notion has available. And then here I've got a little note saying stay hydrated. I thought that was cute. It's like a little gift. And you can get these little widgets on something called Indify. And then we've got the database. So this is where I can access other pages. We've got more widgets and little photos and a matcha gift. And also of course Snoopy. I don't know if you can see the theme that's going on here. Say hello. Random thoughts here, just a brain dump because I love just like sporadically typing all over the place and that's where I can do it. Again, a way to be disorganized in an organized way. What I've done here is that I can type whatever. So I had a really lovely week, right? Yeah. And then when I'm ready for the new week, I can add the date here and press new reflection and then kind of move all of this into the archive folder that I showed you before. If we go into my reset room, again, really quickly because it's not as developed as my study system, we've got our journal. So I really like this because I can just add a new item, say today I am, call it filming Notion video. So the date is again September 9th. I did this last night, felt really grateful today. I had a great day yesterday. So daily, and again I can change this into a weekly, monthly or daily entry. And here you can see, let's say it's a weekly one. So if we go into the weekly log over here, we've got options to put on mood. I'm feeling great. Energy level, very high. Sleep quality, I slept okay. Good, I guess. And I have not been exercising. I've not been to the gym since I was at university. So I can't check that off today. Water intake, insufficient. Priorities, what are my priorities? Video. Filmed. I just think it's a really lovely way to have all your things in one place so I can write what I'm grateful for, any wins I had today, any challenges I faced. Here I can tag whether it's a dream entry, general entry, vent, breakthrough, grateful or reflection. You're not journaling for anyone but yourself. When I first started, I was trying to convince my journal that I was cool, which sounds a bit sad. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the journal section. Here we have a self-care menu. We've got bubble baths, nature walks, face masks, stretching yoga, and paint by numbers. Now I've picked up this like silly little hobby. Let me just get this. I've obsessed with paint by numbers, and this is possibly something I'm willing to track here, how long it took me, because this one took me 3 days. Maybe that's more reflective of my ability than the actual difficulty level, but anyways, it doesn't really take any talent at all. It's just very therapeutic and something to do other than going on my phone. Cartoons here, which I thought were really cute, and this, my favorite. I haven't added all the films that I want to yet because I kind of want to do like a review section just for myself because I love films. About Time is my absolute favorite film, and you can see here we've got the favorite tag. Say I haven't watched Forrest Gump and untick that. I will go to the watch list and it will appear there. So it's a good way to see everything I've watched and what I want to watch. So that is pretty much it for the reset room. I think when I get back to uni, I'll definitely place a bit more focus on the kitchen side of things. Now, for the exciting thing, I look at this every day when I'm at uni and sometimes when I'm not because I just love it so much. This is my university hub. So here we've got a little Spotify playlist and I can just play it from here and it links to my Spotify. Some more links. We've got my flashcards here, the e-learning platform, Ninja Nerd because he saved me through my first year of medical school, and my Google Calendar if I need to reference it for my Notion calendar. This is my old brain dump where I kind of just throw everything. We've got my old anatomy to-dos. The idea is that I can throw everything into this archive over here. Now I do not need these at all. I can archive them. Just quickly do that. I've separated them into priority and just general to-dos. I think by the end of my exam season, everything was pretty much a priority, which is why there's so much in there. And what I plan to do with this tasks thing is, again, kind of dump everything here if I'm in a rush or something, and then transfer it over to the tasks where I can connect the course it's related to, whether it's high priority or not. We've got some little study routines I've made. If you've watched my study logs throughout the first year of med school, I rely a lot on routines and I find it quite difficult to study big blocks. I've kind of set these out knowing I will use them, especially the evening and the early morning one, and maybe even the 10-hour one when I'm feeling a little bit of the pressure. We'll have these there. This is kind of what I've come up with to get 10 hours in a day and still get enough sleep. This is tailored to my schedule for my second year of med school, so that's kind of what I'll be doing in the afternoons. We've got a Pomodoro timer here. Now, I don't really use it on Notion too much, but to be honest, it's nice having that because it reminds me that I can just do 25 minutes with a 5-minute break, and that studying doesn't actually have to be that draining or hard. My university textbooks, I can filter them by course or by semester. I'm going to use this section for actual assignments, so any lab reports I have or projects that are due. So if we create one, we can link a course here, say it's a project for biochemistry 2 project, whether it's group work, and the status. So in progress studying, done or not started. Here we've got my weekly schedule. So I've organized them on whether they're labs or just general lectures. And that brings me onto the courses. So these are actually my upcoming classes. I add my second semester. This is what I was doing last semester. My laptop sounds like it's gonna explode. Don't know if you guys can hear that, but that is absolutely abominable. Let's click on a class that I know has good attendance because I know my mum watches my YouTube. This is the kind of thing I've got going on. I have updated it, but just to show you, I'll have my notes in here. Now I have updated it to be seamless. Let's go into biochemistry. Here, I've actually changed it so that the topic is the title, which makes a little bit more sense because before I was having the date as the title. I have already pasted my whole schedule into this. Details I have on that schedule that the university gives us is just the topic, the day, whether it's a lecture or a lab, and the professor. I've added a few more things that I think like completely changed my way of looking at lectures. You can click whether I've attended. Say I've attended Introduction to Biochemistry 2. I've actually made a conditional color so that the whole thing lights up blue when lab is written here. So let's say this was a lab as well, and get rid of AMF. That would change it to blue, which I think is really helpful. I will also have purple in there to show when my lab exams are. Pre-class, so if I've done anything, I read the whole textbook. I doubt you did, Dottie. I really doubt you did. Whether I've made flashcards, which is really important because that means I can go ahead and review, put it in progress. And then slides, I've added this one. I feel like in the lecture, everything goes so fast that sometimes I cannot get everything down on the slides. Not necessarily that I need to, but maybe just specific details. And then the difficulty, I love this one because when I go back over it, I can check how difficult I found that lecture and prioritize it. So I've actually color coded this as well. I've managed to do this. Say I found it very, very easy. I can put 1 in there and it will come up with like a little bar and it will put green. So I found Introduction to Biochemistry 2 very easy. Let's say I found this one a little bit harder. Let's go ahead and put that all in there. And then 4, when it comes to the time where I really need to study, I can prioritize those and focus on the reds and the orange type colors and then kind of lightly review the green. You don't want to be studying things that you already have the knowledge of, which is what we kind of tend to want to do. So say I studied this around a week ago. This will turn green. I think I've set it to 3 weeks. Let's say the last time I studied this topic was on the 14th of August. It will not turn green. It will be blank. And that signals to me that I need to study that. I haven't reviewed it in quite a while. And then we've got SOS. So say that a lecture has been moved and this schedule has been changed, I will just type that in. Or if there's an important keynote in the lecture that the professor has said, then I will also type that in there. And any files in media, I can just link up here as well. And then over here, if I click on the view details, we've got the instructors with links to their contact information. If I need some help or some guidance, then I can just easily come here and click on the link and that will take me to their email. I've been looking for a way to get this done for such a long time and I finally did, and it's just worked so well for me. And again, this is also where I keep all my notes. So I will go in here, I will type my notes. Maybe I'll use the lecture template over here that I have for now note structure. So I'll put my heading here, and then when I'm ready for the summary, this button will add the summary at the bottom and I can just type away. That was a very easy way to kind of incorporate what my university gave me into what I wanted it to be. Cool thing about this weekly schedule is that when I click, it will take me straight to the class. I don't know if I'm hyping my database up too much, but I honestly think it is a really seamless way of keeping everything at once and how much I need to review a lecture. I'll also include a tutorial on how to export files into Notion using the CSV format so that you can actually use the Notes Hub. Huge thank you again to Notion for sponsoring this video. If you want to sign up for free, the link will be at the top of my description box. We just look really quickly back at my calendar. I'm going back to Greece on the 30th, so you guys can expect more study vlogs. I'm really excited to get back to uni, especially with organization set up as well as I have, thanks to Notion. And you don't even have to use my template. There are so many templates available if this wasn't quite gelling with you. So that's my Notion setup for this school year. I'm very excited to be even more organized with all of this. If you guys have any questions on how I set this up, I'm more than happy to do some sort of tutorial. But for now, thank you guys for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.